All right, my friends, Teez Monkey, we're back with another video, and I'm going to tell you up front, this one's a little long, my friends, but it's very good information. So even if you don't want to watch it after a little bit, let it play through and at least listen, because I guarantee you, if you don't know about this and you haven't experimented with this yet, you're going to want to know all the information in this video. So no more talking, let's get into it. Here we go. Alright, my friends, Teez Monkey back with another video, and the reason I'm making this video is because a fellow creator by the name of Carl on Duty made a video talking about a hunter build that he hasn't seen any other creators talking about. I've been running this build. Basically, it's kind of what his build was. Mine's pretty much the same with a few interchanging parts, but I never really made the video because I figured most hunters, this would have came to mind right away with Void 3.0. But if it hasn't, let's go over it. The big thing here is we're kind of taking advantage of one thing, and that's being able to produce volatile rounds for our weapon, meaning we're getting void wells basically whenever we want them. So we can have full-time volatile rounds for the most part. You may have some downtime here and there because it does require you to get a kill if you're in downtime. But once you get it rolling, you can keep it rolling. And the way we do that is a lot from the 6 Coyote and the fact that we have 100 mobility. And the way these two are working together here is 6 Coyote gives you 2 dodges. And we're taking advantage of the dodge to give us the benefit of reaping Wellmaker here. As you can see, after activating your class ability, your next weapon final blow on a combatant spawns a void elemental well. And of course, once we pick up that well, we now have 17 seconds of volatile flow. So remember that, 17 seconds, right? So if I have 17 seconds of volatile flow and I've already got another dodge stored up, when that starts to run low, I can dodge again, kill another enemy, and immediately refresh that. I'm going to have a dodge available whenever I want it before my volatile rounds wear out. And a lot of that, like I said, 100 mobility here because we want to decrease that class ability time as quick as possible. We've also got some other things that help us do that, and that's here on our class item. Bomber reduces, that's for grenades. If you need more ability cooldown, you can switch to, I think I have one set up here, a void cloak, and put like perpetuation, distribution. You don't need this though, trust me, my friends. You don't need it. You won't need it. That's why I run a solar thing to get my grenades back faster, because I want my grenades back as fast as possible, because I run the weakening effect on my grenades so I can weaken enemies whenever I need to as well. So that, in combination with being able to make these volatile rounds full time, very deadly. But if you do run another void piece, you could run Well of Tenacity, which is picking up a void elemental well, reduces the damage you take from combatants for a short period of time. Going to give you a little bit more defense, but the other part that we're looking at is down below where it says picking up an elemental well grants energy to your ability with the lowest current energy. So if your class ability is down in energy, you can get more back here. So again, the main way we're going to get these void wells is by doing our class ability and then getting a kill, and then we're going to get the well, we're going to pick it up, that gives us the volatile flow. I also run elemental armaments, which when you have a final blow that matches your subclass, so a void final blow, we have a chance to also spawn an elemental well. Again, you don't need this, but this also just ensures that constant uptime with volatile rounds. So you could switch this out for Font of Might, which is then going to give you increased damage, of course, with those void weapons. So you make the call, either or. If you want more damage, throw on Font of Might from that. But I'll show you kind of how this works, and then we'll talk a little bit more. It's going to be maybe a little lengthy video, but it's good information, my friends, to watch. So you see I hit my class ability. So if I can secure the kill, there goes my well, right? I pick it up, immediately got volatile rounds. Now I'm running escape velocity with osmosis. So if I throw that, this is now void. And you pay attention, I got 6 seconds left, so I'm gonna go ahead and pop my class ability. Secure a kill. There goes another well. Boom, we're back full time. Right, and I've already got a dodge ready to go. Almost have 2 back up and ready to go. So I'll just go ahead and pop that. Hopefully we get some more enemies out here. There's one here we can pick up on the ground, but boom, there's a couple more wells. So I can just keep popping this whenever I want. Get a kill. I don't have to pick that up yet. I still got 8 seconds. But we can pick it up now. So you can see how often we get these wells. And we could keep this going full time. So this is fantastic in ad clear situations. The new raid. You know, the first encounter if you're on ad clear. The third encounter is nothing but ad clear. This is a great little setup to run. Now, another thing you have to remember here, when it comes to the Hunter and Void 3.0, let's take a little break from showing that off, and let's talk a little bit about this build even more on what you can do with a Hunter in Void 3.0. Here's how I have myself set up. Vanishing Step. Dodging makes me invisible, right? So I've got 2 charges with 6 Coyote, so I can dodge very, very often. And I've also got Stylish Executioner. Defeating a weakened, suppressed, or volatile target grants invisibility. So if I've got volatile rounds going and I'm shooting these enemies and I'm killing them, every time they die, I'm popping in and out of invisibility because I come out of it when I shoot, but as soon as I kill them, I'm back in it. Right? So we're just invis all the time. As far as our fragments go, well, we want to increase that invis. This is for the grenade. So you'll see I run the Vortex grenade, and more on this in a little bit. But we also run the weakening effect for our grenades. But we also run Echo Persistence, where our invisibility stays even longer. And then, of course, picking up this one, you can put whatever you want. You can put this one on there if you got a good source of getting Orbs of Power. So for that, here usually we run Harmonic Siphon. So rapid final blows with damage matching subclass creates an Orb of Power. Now, if you're sitting on a full super, of course you're not going to be able to benefit from that Devour unless you have some kind of mod set up with Charge for Light. So you would need to have like taking charge and then some way for that charge to be used, whether it's protective light, high energy fire, something on that. So if that's what you're looking for, keep that in mind. You have to have 2 mods in play to allow you to pick up orbs when your super is full. So let's talk more about this invisibility thing and how we can even capitalize even more on that. And then after that, we'll talk about the grenade aspect of the build. So the Glaive, right? We have a mod, and it's going to be on our class item. Suppressing Glaive. Damaging combatants with your Glaive suppresses them, blah, 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 right? But the big thing here is, remember that fragment. So we have a fragment that makes us go invisible when, or an aspect, sorry. We go invisible when we defeat weakened, suppressed, or volatile targets. So we can weaken targets with our grenade, we can suppress targets with a Glaive, and we can make them volatile by having volatile rounds and killing them. So when you have the Glaive, you can basically run around on an ad clear type situation and just stay invisible. Now, you'll notice sometimes it kicks in on the kill and sometimes it doesn't. It's not 100% consistent, and I think that's just because they're dying in one hit before the suppression effect actually takes effect. But for the most times, it does work. But sometimes you'll notice, like, why didn't I go invis off that? It's just the game. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But you should go invis every time, but for whatever, if the game's not, I guess, picking it up fast enough that they were suppressed as well, then that's how that works. But you go invis, if you swing, you come out of it. But you can see I'm one-shotting these dudes, and I immediately go invis just from killing. Now that time it didn't put me invis, right? And the ranged attack will almost never put you invis if it's a one-shot. If you one-shot range attack kill them, it won't. But if you hit them and they don't die, they're going to be suppressed, and then you kill them, it's going to give you that invis effect. So just remember that with the ranged attack, when you're one-shot killing stuff, you usually never go invis from it. But when you just use the poke stick, you can see we go invis. And our invisibility, we got our timer at 12 seconds because we have that fragment that's giving us increased duration. Oh, 12-second invis, right? And that's why you'll see in my build, I don't focus too much on recovery, because with the amount of stuff I have to make myself go invisible, if I need to recover, I can just dodge and go invis, and before my invisibility wears off, my recovery is going to kick in and I'm going to be at full health. So that's why I don't focus on recovery on my hunter's build. Mobility to 100, and then our discipline as high as possible. Now my discipline is actually 101, but the reason we're at 81 is because we're using this right here, your void grenades weaken targets, right? To me, this is very important. Grenades are super strong, so I always want my grenades to come back as quick as possible, especially with this in play as well. So that is why you see in my build, I run these solar mods, right? So I've got Well of Ordnance, which picking up an elemental well grants energy to your ability with the lowest current energy, blah, blah, blah. But look at the top. Picking up a solar elemental well grants you additional grenade energy. And I get a lot of the solar wells from grenade kills. And then we've got Explosive Well Maker, which pairs with this. For rapidly defeating combatants with explosive damage, spawns a solar elemental well. Rocket launchers, you know, we're using Galahorn a lot on the first and third encounter in the raid. So this creates a lot of solar elemental wells there. When you have things like Firefly, that creates solar elemental wells also. So I'll kind of show you how my grenade comes back. Now, typically I don't run the Glaive in the raid, so it would be more... Typically I'm running something like this, maybe, as my add clear weapon, and I've got something different up here. But when you have a demolitionist gun as well as high discipline, you're going to see how quick we get these grenades back. Like, I basically have a dodge whenever I want it, and a grenade whenever I want it. The only thing that's not coming back as fast is my smoke bomb. But we're not focused on the smoke bomb here. So you see there goes a solar elemental well right there. I can come up in here, get that. I can dodge and get a little boost from bomber. Pick up that well, boom. Because remember, just picking up any elemental well is going to give me grenade energy back as well, as long as it's my lowest charged ability at the time. And every time I do my dodge, I'm going to create a void well on the kill. Oh. So this is why, this is kind of how I do it. If you want to focus even more around cooling down your dodge ability, you can do that, but like I said, you don't really need it. So I feel like you should be focusing in another aspect as well, and grenade is always a good one to do that with. Some people like to run the Seeking Wells, which is an arc piece so that they don't have to run around and pick the wells up, but in my opinion, I feel like that's a waste of a better spot. That could be something else could be used, because it ain't hard, especially on Hunter, when you're in Viz all the time, to go around and pick up the wells. I mean, you just go in Viz. If it's in a bad area with a lot of enemies around it and you don't want to chance it, just go in Viz, run in there and get it. But you can see we got dodges going. We got grenades coming back quickly. And this is how I like to run my hunter. We can always smoke bomb too and become invisible off of that, because if we smoke bomb an enemy, it distorts them, and if you kill them while they're under that distortion, of course that's going to send you into invisibility. The other thing that we're not doing right now is if we were running this and I don't have a glaive on, I would put double bomber here. You can see you get wells popping all over the place here. We can have constant uptime on volatile flow. We can have grenades back super fast. And run like that. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, I know this video is getting a little long, and I do appreciate you if you're still hanging out. What are some good weapons for this? Well, of course, we want to have a void weapon, right? So it all depends on the situation and what we're currently using. Osmosis weapons are very good right now. If you're watching this video before Xur leaves this weekend, right now it is the 26th. So Xur leaves on the reset at Tuesday. You can go pick up this escape velocity. It's a very good. This is a solid god roll escape velocity that he is selling right now. I made a video about this earlier. You can go see that if you want. But you got guns like Fatebringer that have osmosis. The Traveler's Chosen has osmosis. Servant Leader, Succession can get osmosis. The Last Breath auto rifle that comes out of Prophecy can get osmosis. Those are all solid choices here because we can make those weapons void. Let's drop down to the energies. Gnawing Hunger, Funnel Web, Shayura's, Aisha's Embrace, Dead Messenger, things like Truth Teller, and the other breach loader, that the waveform, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head right now. The Enigma, the Glaive, the Fighting Lion. This thing is deadly in this season. A lot of people have forgotten about this weapon, but it is deadly. Go check out some videos out there of people showing you what this thing is like now because of Void 3.0. But one of my favorite weapons when it comes to volatile rounds and just destroying things is the Quick Fang sword. Now you can do this with any Void sword, but since we're on Hunter, I love this sword because it gives me speed boost and it just attacks super fast. And when you have volatile rounds in effect, it's like you have chain reaction. Now we do have the Razor's Edge, which is the Iron Banner sword, which has chain reaction as well. But volatile rounds is basically chain reaction built in. You can use Falling Guillotine, right? You can use something like this Commemoration machine gun from the Deep Stone Crypt. This thing is nasty because the rolls I have puts this thing almost to 150 rounds on it. So let's get this bad boy out and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So once the reconstruction starts building it up here, it's going to get up to about 140 something, I believe. And that's because we have reconstruction, but we also have extended mag on this. We could throw on a backup mag and get it up there, right? So it's still building, but watch what this thing does with volatile rounds, right? So let me get my well going. You want to talk about shredding enemies in like the third encounter of the raid, or even the first encounter, you can just sit back and mow them down with this thing. And of course, while we're doing this video live, we're doing this live, my friends, no edits. The enemies want to stop coming out. So we can get these things to start pouring out of here. We will start ripping them down. Okay, this spawn point is not being like it usually is for us, but I think you get the idea. It's basically mass destruction when you have that big of a magazine. But like I said before, my favorite, or the most fun I have with volatile rounds, comes when we're dealing with a sword. And I'm gonna just jump into this lost sector here so that other people aren't killing the enemies, so I can kind of show you what I mean with this. And basically it becomes chain reaction, because this sword is gonna one hit any red bar enemy, right? So you have to be careful when you're using the quick fang with that, because I know for me, I like to just swipe, but you gotta slow yourself down because you're wasting ammo at that point. So just watch, boom. We gotta get a dodge, get our volatile rounds back in. Yep. Come on, jump. And of course, since I have elemental armaments on, I'm also popping volatile or void wells off of kills. You're just not seeing them most of the time because they immediately get picked up when you're using a sword, because you're right on top of it. But yeah, I know this was a long one, my friend, so again, I appreciate it if you stuck by and saw it through, but it was just something I wanted to go over, because like I said, a buddy, Carl on Duty, made a video talking about this whole thing with like Reaping Wellmaker and 6 Coyote. And like I said, the reason I had never really made a video about it is because, to me, as I play a lot of Hunter, it was just kind of obvious, you know, when Void 3.0 came out, and he kind of looked around at the different mods, that you could do this. But apparently maybe there's a bunch of hunters out there that don't know about this, because like Carl said, he didn't see any really content creators talking about it, so he made a video about it, and I told him, hey man, that's like the build that I run, but mine's a little bit different, so let me put together a video and show people how I run mine. Again, this is just a build basically for like ad clear and stuff. You can use it for an all-out build throughout the whole raid. I've done it before. It works fine, but when it comes to boss damage, I'm always like, I want to put out the most damage possible. So I switch off of this. Of course, I throw on like a different chest, and I pop on, you know, the Orpheus rigs for, you know, an extra shot on my super. But regardless, that's how we do the majority of my gameplay on Hunter through PvE stuff, is in that build right there. Of course, the weapons vary on what we are doing, but very, very deadly. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for sticking around. Don't forget, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and come over and check me out over on Facebook, where we do the live streams at fb.gg/TeezMonkey. I'll see y'all later, friends.